What if I told you? Hollywood has been running one of the longest brainwashing campaigns in history, and you didn't even notice? Think about it. Why is it that when you hear the word Muslim, your mind instantly flashes to terrorism, violence, and extremism? Did you ever stop to ask who planted that image in your head? Have you ever wondered why a specific image pops into your mind when you hear the word Muslim? The image of a terrorist, an extremist, or an oppressor of women. Is it reality, or just a story told to you over and over until you believed it? Let's rewind. For decades, Hollywood has been more than just entertainment. It has been a tool, shaping how entire societies think, fear, and react. And when it came to Muslims, the script was written long before you were even born. Here's the shocking truth. From the 1970s to today, over 90% of Muslim characters in Hollywood movies were portrayed as villains, terrorists, or backwards people. Not doctors. Not teachers. Not neighbors. Always the bad guy. Now pause. If every story you see about a group of people shows them as a threat, how long before you start to believe it's real? Let me give you an example. Think of all the action movies you've watched. The terrorist with the beard. The woman in a hijab crying in the background. The desert scenes, the Arabic words shouted before an explosion. It's almost like a formula, isn't it? Same stereotypes, copy-pasted for decades. But here's the twist. This isn't just an accident of bad writing. It's not random. It's intentional. Because fear sells. And fear controls. Ask yourself, why would the world's biggest film industry spend billions making you fear one group of people? Now, here's something Hollywood doesn't tell you. Before September 11th, Muslims were already being used as convenient villains. Movies like True Lies, Executive Decision, and Delta Force had one thing in common. The enemy was almost always Middle Eastern, Muslim, or Arab-looking. This wasn't because Muslims were actually attacking Americans in the 80s and 90s. It was because Hollywood needed a new bad guy after the Cold War ended. Think about it. During the Cold War, Russians were the villains. After the Soviet Union collapsed, that storyline was gone. So, who would Hollywood choose next? Muslims. They became the perfect enemy. And with every movie ticket you bought, that lie sank deeper into your subconscious. Here's a question for you. If your only image of Muslims came from Hollywood, would you ever believe they could be peaceful, kind, or even ordinary people? Or would your mind always jump back to bombs, hijackings, and desert gunmen? That's the power of repetition. Repeat a lie long enough, and it starts to feel like truth. And here's the dangerous part. These movies didn't just shape how you saw Muslims on screen. They shaped how people treated Muslims in real life. Studies after September 11th showed something terrifying. The more action movies people watched with Muslim villains, the more likely they were to support wars in the Middle East. Let that sink in. Hollywood didn't just create entertainment. It created consent. But wait, was Hollywood really making this up on its own? Or was there influence from governments, intelligence agencies, and politics? Because when you pull back the curtain, you find something even darker than just movies. Now, let's lift the curtain. Did you know that the Pentagon and the CIA have reviewed, edited, or even directly influenced thousands of Hollywood scripts? Yes, thousands. Whenever a film needs access to military bases, aircraft, or soldiers, the US government often steps in with one condition. They control how the story is told. And what kind of stories do you think they approved? Ones where America is the hero, and Muslims are the faceless enemy. This isn't conspiracy, it's documented history. Even movies like Iron Man had Pentagon involvement, ensuring the villains looked Middle Eastern, while the military looked noble. Here's the shocking part. Right after September 11th, this machine went into overdrive. The world was traumatized, desperate for answers. And Hollywood delivered endless films and TV shows showing Muslims as ticking time bombs. Think of 24, the hit TV series. Season after season, Muslim terrorists threatened America. Millions of viewers watched it weekly. And in their subconscious, Muslims became the face of terror. But here's the twist. Hollywood didn't just tell you what to fear. It told you why wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were unnecessary. When the public sees Muslims as dangerous in movies, they don't question bombs being dropped on Muslim countries in real life. It's a psychological trick called manufacturing consent. Make people afraid, and they'll support anything in the name of safety. Pause for a moment. How many times did you see movies about terrorists in the Middle East, but never about the innocent families living normal lives there? How many films showed mosques as peaceful places of worship instead of breeding grounds for violence? You didn't see it because that story was never profitable. And here's a disturbing fact. After September 11th, hate crimes against Muslims in America skyrocketed by more than 1,600%. Yes, 1,600%. Mosques were vandalized. Women in hijabs were attacked. Ordinary families were harassed just for looking Muslim. Do you see the pattern? First comes the fear on screen. Then comes the hate on the streets. Let me ask you, if every news channel and movie painted your people as monsters, how long before the world starts treating you like one? That's exactly what happened. And the victims weren't just Muslims abroad, they were Muslim citizens living right next to us. But here's something Hollywood never showed you. Muslims aren't some alien other. They're your doctors, your cab drivers, your classmates, your neighbors. People with dreams, fears, and families, just like you. The problem is, Hollywood erased their humanity. And once a group is dehumanized, it becomes easy to justify anything done against them. War, surveillance, discrimination. That's the real danger of propaganda. So now, we're left with a big question. If Hollywood spent decades painting Muslims as villains, what other lies have we been sold without realizing? Because here's the truth, once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. The Muslim villain wasn't born out of reality. It was manufactured, sold, and exported globally to serve political and economic agendas. But here's the good news. Propaganda only works if you never question it. The moment you pause and ask, wait, why do I believe this? The illusion begins to break. And when the illusion breaks, empathy returns. Let me give you a different picture. A Muslim father walking his kids to school. A Muslim mother working late shifts at the hospital. A Muslim student buried in books, dreaming of a better future. These aren't movie characters. They're real. And they make up the overwhelming majority of Muslims around the world. Think about it. If 1.9 billion Muslims were truly as violent as Hollywood suggests, would the world even exist right now? Of course not. The math doesn't lie. What does lie is the story you've been fed. And here's something powerful. When you stop seeing people through the lens of fear, you start seeing them as human again. That's the antidote to propaganda. Not anger, not revenge, but curiosity, fairness, and empathy. So, I'll ask you one final question. Will you keep letting Hollywood write your beliefs for you? Or will you start writing your own? Summary and Anth, close Hollywood brainwashed generations to fear Muslims. Through repetition, stereotypes, and government influence, it turned neighbors into villains and wars into necessary actions. But once you see the game, you can refuse to play it. And maybe that's the real victory here, to free your mind from lies and to choose truth, even when it's inconvenient. Because truth doesn't divide us. It unites us. If this opened your eyes, don't stop here. There's a whole world of hidden truths waiting for you to uncover. Stay curious. Stay questioning. And if you'd like to join me on this journey, you know what to do. Subscribe, follow, and let's keep searching together.